Alright, what's going on, everybody? Good evening to you all, and welcome to another episode of Token Talk. So, tonight, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at coin sizes, and we're going to be taking a look at all of the, well, not all, but most of the tokens that I've covered. We're going to take a look at those, and we're going to see how they fall on the size chart. So let's get into it here. Alright, so we got this nice size chart here. This is from ViridianGold.com. So we'll start from the smallest. So a dime is like 18 millimeters. Penny is 19.5. A nickel is 21. Quarter is 24. A dollar is 26. Half dollar is 30. And a dollar is 38. Plus Ultra. This token, according to Numista, is 15 millimeters. Let's go back to the chart here and see where this falls. 15 millimeters according to Numista. So that is actually smaller than a dime. If you may have watched my video that I made about that token, I was talking about one of those that I saw on eBay. And I actually forgot to mention in that video that I actually did end up getting one of those. And I don't think it was smaller than a dime. I'm pretty sure the one I had was probably more like the size of a penny. So I'm thinking that the sizes on those varied quite a bit. But okay, let's go to the next one. Binder, twine, and cordage. This is 25 millimeters according to an eBay listing. So a little bit bigger than a quarter. That's pretty much what I remember. So Rechenmeister, 28 millimeters according to Numista. So that's halfway between quarter and half dollar. Kronbane, 29 millimeters, not listed on Numista, using generic Condor token dimensions for a halfpenny. So that's just a little bit smaller than a half dollar. East India House, 27.4 according to Numista. Oops. So that's just a little bit bigger than a quarter. John Wilkinson Iron Master. 27 to 30 millimeter range, 1787 to 1795. 1790 around 29 millimeters, according to Numista. Those are the notes that I took on all the sizes of these. So that's a little bit smaller than a $half. Okay. So now here's my thoughts on this. Couple things that I learned here. Numista, their size listings aren't always correct. I mean, they might be correct for like one example, but there's probably different sizes of these floating around out there. I mean, I think those Plus Ultra counter tokens, there's probably a bunch of different sizes of those. Sometimes you gotta try to find the diameter listed on eBay. I mean, it's really nice when the seller lists it for you and it's correct. That's the nicest thing, because Numista, it's probably pretty close, but it might not be exact. I mean, I kind of thought that all the Condor tokens were basically the same size. I mean, according to Wikipedia, you know, they're all the same size. If, you know, they break it down by like farthing, halfpenny, and penny. So you would think, oh yeah, you know, all the halfpennies are the same size. But actually that's not true. I mean, just going by the couple examples we have here, we see that, you know, the India House was like 27, Chromebane was like 29. I mean, so there's variety, you know. Alright, so now let's talk about why does this matter? Why am I making a video about this? Well, it's nice to know the size of the coin or token that you're buying. I'm going to put this back up here. I mean, on the screen right here, I mean, if you're looking at this on a computer, these are probably still magnified to some degree. So what you really need to do is you really actually have to have a dime in your hand, or a penny. I mean, most people have access to like a dime, penny, nickel, or quarter. The other three, I don't know, that's a little tricky. You might not have those on hand, but like, you know, if you have the main four there, you can take a look at one of those and be like, okay, like, I know, you know, and then you'll have to look up what the size is and be like, okay, so this is what, you know, a dime is 18 millimeters, okay, you know, a quarter's 24 point whatever, okay, you know, so then you'll have an idea in your mind what a 24 millimeter diameter coin looks like. So, I mean, when I was first buying tokens, I mean, sometimes I would look at the sizes. Other times I would just think it was cool and buy it and just be like, and then like, I get it sometimes, you know, in the past, and I would be surprised usually at how much smaller it was in real life. I mean, that's one of my main sort of criticisms with coins and tokens, is how small they are. And I mean, a lot of the older ones, they're really hard to see, and like, it's more information for you as a buyer to know what you're buying. Because like, I remember the first couple tokens I bought, I'm like, yeah, these are cool, but I mean, they're pretty small. And then, you know, I was still interested and I was still into it, so I was still buying them, and I was still, you know, sometimes I would research them. I mean, I would say most of the time I would research them and know what I was getting. But let's say, for instance, you're looking at one on eBay and it doesn't list the size, and let's say, okay, let me look this up and try to find an article on Numista, and it's not on Numista, and you can't find it anywhere else. I mean, I personally would not buy that because it could be 15 millimeters. And I mean, if you've never had a 15 millimeter coin, it's so small and tiny. I mean, those little like counter tokens, some of those, I mean, they're almost like comically small, you know. Or, you know, a lot of it depends on the price that they're asking and everything else too, so that comes into play also. I mean, if it's super cool and it's a good deal, maybe you want to get it anyways. But I would say, I mean, for me, when I look at these things and when I've bought them in the past, I mean, I basically need to know what the size is, you know. And I mean, with tokens and stuff, I mean, this is just an opinion, but you know, the bigger ones are easier to see. I mean, that's not to say that there's not some very cool smaller sizes, but you know, we'll get into some of the different kinds of tokens too. That I mean, honestly, I wish they were all bigger. I wish they were all a dollar sized and bigger. You know, I mean, it's actually pretty rare to find stuff that's 38 millimeters. I mean, a lot of those you're getting into the territory of like metals, you know. And I mean, a lot of that stuff, it's either super expensive or it's not very old at all. But I mean, a lot of the highly collectible stuff, the main categories of tokens are all, you know, I would say like 29 millimeters and less, you know. And a lot of them are like the size of a penny, you know. So it's interesting, you know, the sizes. I mean, if you're just getting into the hobby, you're probably not thinking about the sizes a whole lot. And like another video that I want to do sometime here is like I want to do a comparison video looking at like an eBay image of a token where it's all zoomed in and magnified and it looks awesome versus like a real life, like how it looks in real life when you actually see it, like the real true scale of it, how small it is and how hard it is to see, you know. Because I mean, I don't know, I've done this before in the past. Like I've held a token out at arm's length and like half the time I can't even see it. So, but I don't know. They're still cool though, you know. It's nice that you can actually take them and get up close with them. And that's actually another video I should do at some point too. How to store and display coins and tokens. What's the best way, and what are the different options? I think that'll be a video I make at some point in the near future. But anyways, yeah, send a shout out to this image from 2012. That was nice to find that on the like Microsoft Bing Images or whatever. But somebody took the time to make a nice what would you call this? A chart or a graph of all the different sizes. I remember I used to have a printout of all like different size coins too. You could actually put the coin in like all these different rings and find out what the correct size was. But I don't think they make that anymore. But anyways, I digress. Yeah. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I appreciate your time, and I hope that this was educational. Take care.